hardest hit by Irene. Officials are feverishly attempting to restore power and reach those stranded by massive flooding. It's been 3 days now since Irene whipped through the Green Mountain state, leaving behind a broad swathe of destruction. For more on the disaster in that area, Congressman Peter Welch, a Democrat from Vermont, joins us live by phone. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. That was a pretty accurate description you gave, Martin.
Oh, that's very kind of you to say so. Well, you're there. You've written today to John Boehner and Nancy Pelosi asking for federal assistance because of the scale of this disaster. We've been critical of Eric Cantor's comments. Mr. Cantor has just tweeted, and I'm quoting, "Disaster response is an appropriate federal role. The monies will be there. There's never been a question about that." So I guess you'd be reassured by that?
Well, he's been saying that he wants offsets, and basically the question is, should a member of Congress use an act of God that inflicts immense destruction on innocent people to leverage their own political, ideological budget point of view? And that's never been the position of Republicans or Democrats in Congress. That's been the position that Mr. Cantor seems to be taking. My hope is he's backing off. You know, this Hurricane Irene inflicted immense damage, and it did so without regard to whether you were Republican or Democrat, who you voted for in President or Congress. All of us are in this together. Folks at the local level are just working incredibly hard and together. If Congress functioned 10% as effectively as some of these local response folks in Vermont, this country would be a lot better off.
Senator Bernie Sanders, speaking earlier today, talked about the fact that we are the United States, as opposed to the views being expressed by others with this offset issue with regard to paying and funding FEMA. He believes this is the worst natural disaster to hit Vermont in living memory. Can you give us, from your own personal experience, any specific examples of people, businesses in your constituency that have been really seriously affected?
Well, I can, and it was very sudden. But there's a grocery store that is specialty foods. It started out as a food stand, the Woodstock Farmers Market. 45 people work there. They just had it all renovated. It's along the river. It had survived the 1927 flood, that area. So the biggest flood we had before was not a threat. And the waters rose in the course of a couple of hours. So they were 5 feet into the store, 5 feet above the shelves, and just wiped it out. The next day, the owner of that store, who started it from scratch, his 45 employees, about 50 community volunteers were in there with buckets, with shovels, and they were shoveling out the muck. The building was not destroyed, and they are determined to get it back in business. And then there were two 85-year-old women. This place, by the way, was cut off because the roads on both sides were completely washed out.
Congressman Peter Welch, I'm afraid we have to leave it there, but thank you for that remarkable description, and we wish you all the best as you help your constituents.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Take care. Bye.
Coming up, Rick Perry, the